live stream has started. Very good. Welcome. We're really glad that you all are here tonight. You need to get that.
I'm racing you over.
My name is Mark Monfort. I'm the minister at First Presbyterian Church here, and I'm just really honored to be asked to be here and just kind of MC this and move things along. Our church is most honored to participate with a good number of you folks in terms of contributing a little bit to help you do the good things that you do in the community. Those folks I'm really eager to connect with tonight. Just we value your partnership. And there are some folks here who represent agencies or entities that I'm not that familiar with, and I'm looking forward to learning more about that. So I have it as a sort of a personal belief for myself that the world doesn't really work for anyone until it works for everyone. So for everybody who is involved in helping causes and ministries and agents and doing good deeds, thank you. Thank you for the work that you are doing in this world. And the way this will work is that each presenter will have about 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, somewhere in there. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, the organization that you represent, and the things that are that you all are doing in the community. And following all that, we'll have some time for Q&A from everybody. So I think we'll get going. It is my great honor to introduce the mayor of Oneonta, Mark Rennie.
Thank you, folks. And I know there's a lot of people who are watching on the live stream, which will also be archived. So I just want to quickly thank Dylan and Otsego Media for this donation of their service. I also want to thank the folks here at Roots who are donating this space tonight, so that if you were inclined, I would ask you to be as supportive of our hosts as you possibly can be, because we want our downtown businesses to thrive. And if there's a place that should, it is certainly Roots. They are such a wonderful opportunity for the community to be getting together 6, 7 days a week. They're wonderful folks, so please do support our hosts. I'm in an information delivery mode these days, you may know, and so there is, in fact, many of you may have received, hopefully did receive in the mail about 2 weeks ago, this little newsletter that's filled with QR codes that takes you to websites where you can see at your leisure as much detail of the things that are going on in the city of Oneonta. If you haven't gotten one, if you tossed it for some reason, we have them here. Please feel free to pick one of those up. I am so pleased on such short notice that we have a who's who here of our child care and children's providers network of services and organizations. So let's give them all a hand. Recruitment and retention is a thing that I talk about all the time. We want to bring more people into our community, and we want to bring young families into our community. That's the next generation that we need to pass our baton to. And when you are talking about recruitment of new and young people, if you're talking about the retention of young people and their families, one of the first things that they're going to say is a concern that they'd like to see addressed, they'd like to know more about, is child care and children's programming. And so with that, again, I thank you all for your attendance and for the information that you'll provide. And I want to turn this over, where are you? There you are, to Rebecca, who's going to give you a little bit of information. I know I took that away from you, but Rebecca, I'm going to hand the mic to you.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. I'm Rebecca Matthews. I'm the program director at Catholic Charities, right across the road here, actually. I'm so happy to be here with all of my esteemed colleagues. I know almost every single face here, so I'm really happy to be here tonight. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the services that we offer for families and providers a little bit towards the end, but I know we wanted to start off by just laying a little bit of the groundwork for what is child care in New York State. So in New York State, Social Service Law 390 defines what child care is and what people are legally able to do. So this kind of differentiates between childcare that's licensed and registered, and then other child programs such as day camps, nursery schools, summer camps, etc. So typically for childcare age, we're looking at 6 weeks until 12 years old, and all care for more than 2 children who are not related to somebody in a residence must be registered or licensed through the state. Now, I don't want to get too in the weeds with that because it is very nuanced, but if anybody has questions with that, please reach out to our office. If a child care is not in a home, like say in a commercial building or something like that, if the care is being done for more than 3 hours, they also must become registered and licensed in the state of New York. So we have a few different, what they call modalities of care. One of those is family daycare. So that's in a residence with up to 8 children. And in the city of Oneonta, we have 3 of them. We have group family daycare. I'm sorry, Angel is a group family. We have 1 group family. And that's basically double the numbers, also in a residence. We have a traditional daycare center, which we are blessed to have several in the city of Oneonta. And then there are school-age childcare programs, and currently there are no school-age childcare programs in the city of Oneonta. However, we are blessed to have other programs available, so I'll let them speak to that. So that's a very brief overview of childcare. So I know another area of concern I just want to briefly touch on, which we hear from parents and providers a lot, is the cost of care. So I just want to briefly say a little plug that there is a child care assistance program, aka subsidy. They did a little rebrand. So that has wildly expanded over the past few years, and the income guidelines have way gone up. So right now, for a family of 4, they can make up to $108,000 for their family and still be eligible for assistance with that. And so with that, child care assistance pays the provider directly up to the market rate. So the market rate is set by the Office of Children and Family Services. Every 3 years, they do a survey of all child care programs in the state, and they basically average out what those costs are. And so that rate is set by the state. So child care assistance can only be used on registered and licensed care. In addition, there is an option for what we call legally exempt care. So child care assistance can pay for, say, a friend or a family member to watch a child. You just have to go through a little enrollment process, which, again, if you have questions about, please reach out to our office. I won't get into the weeds of it here, but it is another option for families who cannot find care. So that's just a quick, really fast nitty-gritty of that, and then I'll get into what we do a little bit later.
I'm appreciative that you were so succinct and precise in your remarks, because with Mark bogarting me from introducing you, I didn't get to explain to everyone that we have this nice little sign that I'm supposed to flash at you.
I'm fast, so no need.
Whenever I watch the Academy Awards or the Emmys, I always feel really awkward for the person who doesn't get to finish their speech and they get yanked off. So when I flash this at you, please be mindful for that and don't make me feel awkward, okay? But we're delighted to have you all here tonight. Okay. Heather Fay is the Family Services Specialist at Opportunities for Otsego. Her role is to enroll eligible families in the Head Start and Early Head Start program, their preschool program for children ages 3 to 5, and for the Early Head Start program, they offer a center-based option and a home visiting option. Heather?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Heather Fay, and as you said, I work for Opportunities for Otsego. I've been working for the program for 23 years, so my role for enrolling families is to help do recruitments, provide support for families, determine eligibility for our program. Head Start and Early Head Start, we do have to follow very strict guidelines as far as the eligibility is concerned. So we follow the federal poverty guidelines for income. If the families are over that, we can also look at other situations that might help a family be eligible for a program. Some of those situations, they could be facing homelessness. Maybe they're doubled up, living with family members. They could be living in a tent. They could be a foster child. If a family receives SNAP, public assistance, or supplemental security income, they're also eligible for our program. So aside from those eligibility criteria, once we do the application and we can place them, we have Head Start centers all throughout the county. It's for children ages 3 to 5. We have centers in Cooperstown, Richfield Springs, Oneonta, Morris, Unadilla, and Skanevis. Most of our programs run 6.5-hour days. We do have some transportation to the centers. For the Early Head Start program, we offer transportation with help for medical appointments, doctor appointments, dentists. We go to the home once a week for an hour and a half. And in that weekly home visit with the families, we work on family goals, child goals, create activities with the parents, and just be an extra support for what the parents are already doing for their children. That's the primary role for that program. We also have a toddler room option, and that is for children that are 18 months to 3 years old. So families can have their children in a center-based program 5 days a week. That program runs from 8 to 2:30 Monday through Friday. Some of the benefits of the program, like I said, we do help with transportation. We take them to socializations. We have meeting times with the parents. So it's really just a big support for the families in our community. I know some of the challenges that we face in this county, transportation is one of the biggest challenges. We may have openings for families in our centers, but they can't get to us because they don't have a car or public transportation doesn't go to their house. So that is a challenge we face a lot. One of the other challenges is actually the eligibility criteria for our program. Unfortunately, we can't always get the families in for that. But it's a great program. Referrals are always welcome. Love to have anyone come.
I'll be your man of life.
Okay.
Becky Miller and Jennifer Martin, respectively, are the director and assistant director of Bugbee Children's Center. Bugbee is SUNY Oneonta's child care program. They are an Office of Children and Family Services licensed organization, a not-for-profit agency. Currently, they have 11 classrooms open, offering care to infants, toddlers, and preschoolers.
We'll start with a little history. Bugbee opened in May of 1985, so we're going into our 40th year. Hopefully a big celebration in May. We're not for profit, so we're not part of SUNY Oneonta. We're our own entity and not state employees. We started, as most of the SUNY programs, where we started to meet the needs of the students and the faculty and staff of the SUNY schools. Once those spots are filled, and then we will open up to the public for some more spots. We actually do have a lot of spots with public community children in there. We also have an agreement with SUNY Oneonta for internships and work-study programs with their college students. And we work with the public school for UPK program.
All right. And just a little bit about us. We are licensed for 141 children, providing care for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. We're open traditional hours of Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. In October of 2022, we opened 4 classrooms to meet the need of childcare when Little Lambs closed. And we knew that infants and toddlers were basically the big criteria. So we opened 2 infant rooms, 1 toddler room, and 1 preschool room at that time. We currently have an extensive wait list for infant and toddler care, which is typical around the county, around the cities, and the state in general. But we do have a few openings for preschool children. We previously offered a summer camp program, but we have been unable to do that anymore because we filled those rooms with the other kids. So we have not been able to do that. We collaborate with the Oneonta City School District with UPK, and then we also accept child care assistance through the county, and then we also accept SUNY block grant through the SUNY program.
All right, and some of our successes. Well, we've been open for 39 years. We have survived building renovations, window projects, downsizing. Sorry. We've downsized, we've expanded, we've, worked through COVID. In the past, we've been part of the NAEYC, and now we are currently participating in the Quality Stars program, and we just received our star rating of a 4. We've been working to update our classrooms, our playgrounds. We've just put in 2 new preschool playgrounds with new equipment and climbers, and we hope to start with our infant and toddler playgrounds next with new fencing and new equipment.
And some of the challenges that we're facing, basically OCF regulations have changed tremendously over the years, and what we have to follow is beyond what anybody can actually comprehend. So there's 55 pages of just regulations that we are responsible for. And that adds, challenges to what we're expecting of staff. And so staffing has become a huge issue in childcare in general. The qualifications, finding competent staff, increasing wages so that we're competing with Walmart, we're competing with fast food restaurants. Years ago, well, a couple years ago only, my son was working in Dairy Queen and he was making more basically filling an ice cream cone than my TAs were at my center. And so that's a really hard thing. We're putting these staff in charge of children and the responsibility for children, and yet we need to be able to pay them. But then again, we're asking parents to pay, so that's the big issue. The full day free UPK programs that are offered by the public schools in the community, some of the smaller schools, that impacts us. So when we lose preschoolers, we're losing the tuition for the preschoolers, and it costs more money to care for infants and toddlers. So that gives us a challenge with our budget. And basically just, it's grants for not-for-profits that we're looking for to help with operating costs. So there's always maybe specific things, but what our challenge is the operating costs in general. All set?
Thank you. Sheila Andrejek, I hope I'm saying that.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Right there, okay, very good. Is the owner of Noah's World. Their place-based offers a safe and accepting environment for families to enjoy during their open play hours. They also offer parent-child programs, drop-off programs for 3 to 6-year-olds, and a birthday party venue. Noah's World tries to fill in the gaps for families looking for a less structured programming and more flexible commitments.
I don't have anything to say after that. I will say this, honestly, I'm so confused. What do we want from this experience? What are we looking for? What are parents looking for? We're telling you all the things that we offer, but what is the issue? Does anybody know?
I know for myself because I have school-age kids,
Okay.
before and after school stuff, which I know a lot of you can't do, and I get it. I was hoping some other people who might have those answers would be here, but I see that they're not. So.
Who's that?
Like school districts
Call 'em out.
would be a great thing.
Call 'em out.
Because
We're
I
on
know
camera.
some centers might be willing to do after school, and I know Boys and Girls Club does, but my kid can't get there from Greater Plains because I'm not letting him get off the bus at my house and then walk when he's in 4th grade. That's just, especially down River Street, because it's busy and it's crazy.
I'm looking at the microphone. I feel like there's a lot
Sorry.
that could be said here.
No, I got it.
You got it? Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. No, I think that's what I want to take my time up with. What do we
Oh,
Girl.
sorry.
Kelly, you know what I mean?
It was you two first.
You know what I mean? Like, let's solve the problem. What are we here for?
That's my biggest thing is the before and after school, and like my kid has gone to Yaks and we have loved Yaks for summer program. Like he loves going, he looks forward to going. As much as we love Yaks, I don't love the price, and I know that's nothing to do with Heather. Like we love Heather,
Yep,
we
yep.
love the program.
They have
I don't
to,
love
they
the
have
price,
to, yeah.
and we make just too much to get subsidy. Like we're literally like maybe $100 over to get any type of help.
I mean,
So,
this
like,
is a
it-
lifelong thing.
Right.
Our parents did this. Our grandparents did this. They all had to figure out childcare around
And I
raising
mean, then
kids.
it was a lot
Why
of family.
is it that we're feeling
Yeah.
like we're feeling in Oneonta?
I don't have family here to help. Like, my mom does help, but she's older. She can't take care of my
Okay.
9-year-old all summer long.
So you're looking for after school care.
Right. During the day, I'm good because he's at school most
Yeah,
days.
Yeah.
Now that they're
and we
back
all
in
want
school
to help
most
each other
days.
because if you got to work and we
Right.
have a place or a service that can maybe help with that, but it's the price as well.
Right. And that's just a school age parent.
No,
Sorry.
no, don't be sorry. I feel like you have something to say. No? You're good?
She's backing me up today.
She's like, yeah, I know.
Cheerleading. She's
Okay.
been helping me.
So, is this on? Okay. So Noah's World is a play center in Oneonta. We cater to children up to the age of 10. We provide opportunities for children with special needs. We try to create an environment that people feel safe and they don't feel judged, and their children can come in and work on the skills that they're trying to build as children. Not easy for all children. You know, it's a diverse, environment where everybody's on their own schedule, and that's what we're there for, just to be there, to let stay-at-home moms or parents or grandparents have a place that they can bring their child to work on their skills. We aren't licensed, so it's very different, but we do provide parent-child programs. We also provide drop-off programs for 2.5 hours. We try to stay within the range of what's legal and not legal. Yeah, we're good. All right, we can talk about this. I'm good. All right. But it's this topic to me is just like so strange because I don't know what we're going to do different other than what we're providing and offering to families. I mean, nothing's for free. We've all done this our whole lives. Our parents have done this. We're all trying to figure it out. But can we maybe provide more opportunities for like after school? That sounds like a good idea. You think so?
Well,
All right.
I'm still for 1 second. I will say, back in the day, I mean, Ken, how many family daycares did we have back then? 120? And right now, Angel would know that, I mean, wait, back in the day?
All right.
Over 100. And now I said there's 3.
So why is that? Why is that? I'm getting it back.
Well, I don't want to get too in the weeds with it, but, the regulatory responsibilities increased a lot. And frankly, I think that just there's not a lot of people interested in doing it anymore because it is in your own home. People are coming into your home, inspecting your home. It's kind of a hard sell. I also think just getting the word out that it is an option for families is hard too, because we don't have a advertising system to say like, hey, you're home with your kids, do you want to do a family daycare? We try as much as we can, but that word isn't out there. So I think just lack of knowledge about it, the regulatory load, the margins, the profit margins are better now, but still not great.
Yeah. I mean, we're not in a community like it's hard around here. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's trying to make ends meet. So we're trying to provide something at a price that will be affordable, but it's not always ideal. And again, like I said, I just want to see a reason for this meeting today and like where we're going from here. Like what are we trying to accomplish? I'm sure Mayor understands, right?
Sharing information.
Yeah, sharing information. All right, so I'm gonna leave lead off on that. Oh, I was past the 2 minutes, sorry.
Perfect.
You jumped in.
No, this is
So
just
sorry.
such great stuff, and it's so wonderful to have folks here, and connections can be made, and ideas discussed,
Yeah.
and new doors opened. It's really great. And no question, these are challenging times, and we need input and support from one another in finding solutions, making things workable. One person who's devoted a significant part of his life to that is Bob Escher. Bob grew up in Oneonta. He's been back since 1997, serving hospice in the YMCA. And he's now the executive director of the Oneonta Boys and Girls Club. Bob?
Thank you. Well, the Oneonta Boys and Girls, we're more on the after-school Saturday programming. We're not daycare. Our summer program, our summer camp, kind of serves in that capacity. But our mission is to create a community that raises little kids. Frank, you should be talking now.
That won't be added into your
Everybody had 2 minutes on. But we serve kids ages 6 through 16, and then sometimes through 18. Our motto is when school is closed, we're open. So snow days, conference days, when school is out, we're open. And because we realize, the burden that parents have with what am I going to do with my kids. We're in a very good position where all of our programs are free. There's no charge. You just have to figure out a way to get your kid to the club. Riverside's easy because they can just walk right up. But if Valley View and Greater Plains could get their kids to the club, we see probably on average 85 to 90 kids after school every day. When it's real busy, we're up 120, 125. We could have some capacity issues if the other grade schools had all their kids come to the club. We'd figure it out, but it would be a challenge, but we could figure that out. But our mission is to create a community that raises strong, kind, confident kids. We try to teach them good sportsmanship, the importance of being kind to one another, and we try to fill them up with positive, affirming messages, because a lot of the kids that come to the club, they have no esteem. Their messaging, where they live, is not good. And sort of we feel a responsibility to try to build them up so that they can feel like there is a future for them, that there is another road for them that they can go rather than trouble. And the important thing is not that that they realize their dreams, but that they can dream. And we try to do that and fill them up. They laugh at me at the club because I see all of our kids as little plants, and our job is to nurture them so they can grow and turn out to be something beautiful. I have a list of just a bunch of a lot of people sort of think that, the Boys and Girls Club is sports kind of stuff, but there is a wide array of, but not all kids are into sports. They're not into all those kind of activities, but we have a pretty broad spectrum of things for all kids to do. We have an art room that is just out of this world. Lauren Morrison does so much great kids with our kids in forms of art, and brings the club to life. She also does cooking class. We do cooking class twice a week. We created a new room. It's called Good Vibes at the Club, which was the original boxing room. And that's a place where we work on the inside of the kid, their social, emotional, their mental well-being. There's lots of positive messages that go in there. They go in there. We have diffuser. It's sort of a calming place where they can go in there and just relax. And we can, they're sort of, even subliminally, they're surrounded with positive messages for them. It's a really great thing. We have a dance program now. We started last year. We just knew that there were a lot of little kids that wanted to dance but they couldn't afford it. But we've got about 35 or 40 kids that are in the dance program. We have boxing. We brought boxing back. We've got about 45 to 50 kids in that program. We do archery. Woodshop is now back. We do soccer, flag football, floor hockey, mini hoopsters. We have travel basketball for boys and girls. We have a wrestling team. We do a modified basketball league. Our summer basketball camp. We have Oculus. We have virtual reality. We do a yoga on Thursdays. We do have open gym. And then we have game gym. We have our game room, which they can play pool, foosball, ping pong. We put in a couple of bowling lanes. We have a garden club. And we have a snack bar where a lot of the kids, that's their best meal that they're going to get of the day. And we have a lot of future programming. We're going to do an auto mechanic program. We have Legos. We want to do a literacy program, maybe a STEM program in the future. Piano, photography. So there's more things on the horizon. So my 2 minutes are up. I think you had to use that.
Close it down, but you're fine.
So, if anybody wants to come to the club, want a tour, give me questions.
Okay, I have a question. Like, what's the issue with parents? Like, why are they transportation?
Getting their kids after school to the club is
The
a
problem,
problem.
that you see with families.
I've heard that. I mean, I know a friend, he's got 3 kids that go to Greater Plains. He goes, he pays to have them do the after school at Greater Plains. He'd rather have them come to the club, but he can't get them there. They're basically because of their work schedules.
Is there no school bus from the elementary schools to the Boys and Girls Club?
No.
They
Can
won't
we solve
stop
that
there.
problem?
They've been
Yeah.
asked.
Can we somehow work around
They've been
that?
asked, but they
Why?
I don't know legally.
Wait, this is a good
I don't
question.
know.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
wouldn't they?
That's just what I've heard.
Alright, well, something to think about, I guess, right?
That is a wonderful door to open, and I hope that you all will exchange some contact information and see what we can do about that.
Parents, I think they're kids. I think parents' voices would be the strongest.
Yes, so
They have
that's
get
that's
together.
right there. We're going to move on to Frank Russo. Frank was born in Russo. I'm so sorry. Frank was born and raised in Oneonta and is a retired Oneonta firefighter. Frank's passion for community carries over to his current career. He has been with the Oneonta family YMCA since 1999. Still partying like it's that? Okay. The YMCA mission is to build strong kids, strong families, and strong communities. Frank.
Thank you. I want to say thanks to everybody up here because I don't know what's that saying, it takes a community to raise a child. So I think that sometimes as much as everybody says there's nothing for people to do, there's a lot of services in Oneonta. It just doesn't meet the mark of everything that everybody does. And I've also pretty much had the chance to collaborate with almost everybody up here on the panel with the Y, so I think that's pretty cool. I grew up in the boys club. It wasn't even the Boys and Girls Club. The YMCA is a little bit different. So we currently operate out of seven different locations in Oneonta, and I don't know if a lot of people even know that. We're at the Y on Ford Ave. We have the Y Specialty Fitness at Foxcare. We're at the Southside Mall. We're at the Center Street School where we operate the pre-K and UPK. We're at the OHS pool where we operate our kids swim team. We're at the Wilbur Pool. We collaborate with the city of Oneonta and provide swim lessons and swimming. And we also do programming at the Armory. We are unique that we offer all types of programs for ages and abilities from toddler to senior. So that's a little bit different than everybody on the panel. Like I said, you can walk into the Y and there can be a brand new baby in a swim class and then a 90-year-old taking a fitness class. We've kind of heard from the other providers. We do the licensed pre-K. It does have challenges. We have the resource like Catholic Charities. We've been working with them lately, but the licensed programs do have, Becky laid that out pretty good, and the staffing. So every decision that we ever have to make is usually based on staffing, and you just can't get the staffing that you need to run the programs that the people want. So it makes it hard. So a little more that we do that probably a lot of people don't know. Besides the regulated thing is we have programs during the day, and it doesn't help the working parents, but we offer things such as toddler time, splash, We do youth sports where we try to focus on the younger kids that are not served by, like the Boys and Girls Club, like Bob said, they start at 6. We try to do the little people. We have pickleball for the little kids. We do soccer and basketball. We do the swim lessons, which is probably one of the most important things that we do. We have a swim team. We have about 50 kids that participate on the swim team. That's kind of like an after-school activity that's at nighttime. We have gymnastics lessons. Again, that's something that probably not many people can offer. We have a gymnastics team. We have about 50 kids that compete at night and after school on the gymnastics team. We also run family events, so to try and get that, again, because our building can take youth and adult, we run different family events throughout the year. We have a free Splash of Color run coming up that we're doing with the middle school, April 20th, September 28th. And throughout the year we do other stuff, so just look for that. I think we're going to be doing something in early October for Halloween. Again, a little different than the trunk or treats. So we do try to spread ourselves out and cover everything. Another thing that we do that might be helpful for people is we have family float night and family swim times. Also, two of our biggest programs that we do is junior firefighter that I'm pretty proud of in the summer. If you didn't catch on that I was a fireman. We have about 100 kids and we teach them fire safety. I collaborate with the city of Oneonta again for that. And then we also do a 4-day free program called Safety Around Water, where anybody can come for free and learn. It's not really swim lessons, it's more about being around bodies of water. So again, the Y is kind of like a little bit different approach to things.
Love it.
Hope von Stingel is Executive Director of the Community Arts Network of Oneonta, a 501c3 nonprofit that offers arts education programming and artistic presentations to the public.
I'm right over here. I'm going to try to squeeze in here. All right, thank you everyone for coming out tonight. I wanted to thank Mayor Mark Trenick and Otsego Media for taking the time to put this information session together. Many of you are familiar with Kano because of our events like the annual Chili Bowl and City of the Hills Festival. But we also have a pretty vibrant summer arts program, and we have reinstated our after-school art program last year. We provide arts education classes to adults, kids, and teens. We just started offering classes to teens last year, focusing on visual art instruction, but we've also offered music and writing classes as well. Our classes are instructed by artists, musicians, and writers, all of them local and probably artists, writers, and musicians you know. Some have a background in arts education, and others are experienced artists who are passionate about instilling a love of self-expression and creativity in others. These classes give community members the opportunity to learn new skills in a non-competitive atmosphere, which is, I feel like, is really important, and it is something that the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA and a lot of other youth programs instill in kids as well. 20 years ago, I started teaching community classes, specifically cooking classes through Pullman Parks and Recreation in Washington State and the University of Idaho. And I've also taught art workshops here as well. One thing I've experienced firsthand is how enthusiastic people of all ages are to learn something new to them in a non-traditional setting. Regardless of skill level, adults and children are eager to discover a new method to express themselves and are excited to bring their own experiences, creativity, and ideas to whatever I'm teaching or our instructors are teaching. This year, our summer arts program offered visual art instruction 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We've been doing that for quite a few years to kids 6 through 10 years old. And we recently changed, in the past we offered the summer arts program for kids to children 6 through 12, but we found that really focusing on specific age groups kind of helps benefit each kid
and helps them really kind of learn as a group together, and it helps the instructors kind of focus on teaching that certain age group to where they're at. And we do this for 9 weeks every summer with different themes each week. Some of the themes being depth and dimension and nature and art. They're taught by a variety of instructors with different backgrounds. Last summer, we added the summer arts program for teens, and this summer expanded offerings for teens with weekly workshops such as the non-tortured poets department, ceramics, and watercolor. Our after-school art program starts again in October this year with weekly classes for kids on Mondays and Tuesdays and teens Wednesdays. Classes take place 4 to 5:30 p.m. Pre-registration is required, and parents can sign up on our website. So what we're currently doing is researching expanding opportunities for kids and teens in the summer of 2025. We would love to offer free classes Monday through Friday to all the children in our community. So right now what we're looking at doing is putting in heating and air conditioning throughout our whole art studio, so we can have kids upstairs and downstairs. And we're also looking at opening one of our rooms downstairs in the mansion just for teens programming in the summertime as well, which is really, really exciting. While we offer scholarships and reduced tuition weeks for kids every year and teens, registration for the summer arts program, as some parents know, fills up very quickly. So creating more opportunities for children who have an interest in art or want to take art classes with friends in a safe place is really important to us as an organization. Many parents have brought to my attention the need for full day programs for kids in the summertime, and many of you probably are aware of this. And we're exploring expanding the hours of our summer arts programming to a select number of kids in the community. We'd also love to partner with other organizations, and so we're just starting. Now that the summer arts program is over and City of the Hills Festival is over, we're just starting to network with other organizations so we can do that. What I would love to hear is feedback about the community's needs as well. What types of art classes teens would love to take, what are the needs of parents in the greater Oneonta area. Kano is in the midst of creating a survey for parents that we're going to put on our social media, whose children and teens who have taken some of the classes, but we're also interested in hearing what the rest of the community is interested in saying as well. So some of our challenges, like everyone else, challenges funding. I heard finding teachers, instructors. That's also another one of our challenges. So I think everybody here is probably in the same boat. Parents all have the same needs.
Maybe we can connect better with the colleges, you know what I mean? Like with students who are needing.
Yes, well, we actually had one of our, we had an intern this summer from Hartwick College. My husband teaches at Hartwick College, and actually 2 days ago in the car, he said, you know what would be great if Hartwick and, yeah, I mean, that's all it takes. I think community members really coming together and making things happen, yeah. And also, my email is admin, A-D-M-I-N, @canoneonta.org if you have any questions or comments, concerns. Thank you so much for having me.
Taylor Carpenter is Program Manager of the Youth Clubhouses for Friends of Recovery, dedicated to others, where he oversees Ordo's 2 youth clubhouse programs in Oneonta, the Oneonta Teen Center for ages 12 to 18, and Club Odyssey for ages 18 to 25. Taylor?
Thanks, Mark. I'll stand if you don't mind so I can see everybody. Everybody can see me. So we're getting outside the realm of child and child care right now and venturing off into teens and young adults because of the nature of the event. I'll talk more about the Oneonta Teen Center. I oversee both programs. I happen to be more hands-on with Club Odyssey, the young adult program that just expanded to the old Tina Marie's place actually across the street. So if you look out and see funky lights and little mannequins, that's us. We're going to have a ribbon cutting there sometime this semester. But the Teen Center in particular, we've been meeting in the Armory building, the program itself, since 2006. Friends of Recovery was able to take over that program. It's been through a couple different agencies, so we took it over in 2017 as part of the Oasis Youth Clubhouse program. Oasis means it's a state agency, the Office of Addiction and Support Services. They fund Friends of Recovery, they fund LEAF, and they fund our 2 youth programs statewide. There's 22 youth clubhouse programs throughout the state. And Oneonta happened to get on the first round of programs. This in 2016 is when that program started statewide, and it's ever expanded. So the Oneonta Teen Center, it's free. It's ages 12 to 18. To describe what we do there is actually very difficult because it changes per season in both Club Odyssey and the Teen Center. It's described as youth-driven and youth-led. And that kind of makes the job extra fun. So what that means is what goes on in our facilities is dependent upon what the youth want to do. So we regularly sit down with the youth. We have actual formal committee meetings where we hear their voices and take notes. We ask them throughout the week, what do you want to do? And that determines if they want to play games, if they want to play sports, if they want to go on field trips. What kind of, so we have access to the gym at the Armory building if no other group is using it, so we can do some activities there. So if you've not been in the basement of the Armory building and seen the Teen Center, it's actually a space probably about as big as Roots here, maybe even a little bit bigger, and it's just very youth focused in mind. There's a stage where we like to do concerts for the community, as well as the teenagers. Club Odyssey likes to use that for the college bands to come and then to do some concerts as well. And so those, if you see a concert, that is open to the public, and we like to focus on the younger bands, give them a chance to get them on stage. In addition to the funding source being with New York State, we also are funded by the Teen Center has a United Way grant, and we're able to do life skill classes with their stuff like cooking classes. All that is free. We have another funding source called Rotor Recovery from New York City. They're a nonprofit that's been around for about 28 years or so, and they have a really cool program called the Tracks program. It's a creative arts mentorship program where they take music industry professionals and we work weekly with the kids for 10 weeks to come up with an original production, and then the professionals from New York City comes and do lights and videotapes it. It looks really cool. So we do that Tracks program about 3 to 4 times a year. That's always a highlight for the young people. We have about it is after school on the Teen Center side for the most part. We try to stay open a little later on Fridays to kind of give the young people something to do. The schedule can also change based on the needs of the kids, so we're always adapting and changing the schedule based on the kids' availability. We have anywhere from 2 to 4 staff at a time, and we got security cameras, we got policies, so we try our best to make the kids feel as safe and welcoming as possible. We have a code of conduct they have to agree by, and so we try really hard to make it a very safe environment for them. We do have a van, so we are pretty happy about that. One of the challenges is we cannot offer consistent transportation. The availability to provide transportation to and from the Teen Center is based on staffing. So we have to be able to have at least 3 staff on in order for one person to go get them, and we have 2 remain at the center the whole time when we're open. So if we had more staff, we could be able to offer more consistent transportation, but we do, if the staffing is there, we will go to the junior high and the high school, pick them up and bring them back. We're happy to do that, but again, it's a minivan. it's not a bus. I too have been in talks with the superintendent and said, please just drop the bus off right in front of our place. That would make everything so much easier for the youth and help the space be better utilized. So if any of you guys are able to crack that egg, we'd be happy to get in on that. But yeah, I mean, it's a wide variety of stuff goes on there for young people. We could have anywhere from 2 or 3 kids on a slow day to as many as 25 or 30 just run around having fun. And we just really encourage the kids to be themselves. You don't have to be an addiction to come to the space. I know that's a question that I get a lot. That's probably actually only a small portion of our young people would actually identify as having that as an issue. If it is something that they want to talk about, we do offer peer support settings where they can sit down and talk about it. Our staff are trained in recovery coaching, and we're always sitting there able to have some one-on-one conversations about not only addiction, but anything that they're going through, and we're always pointing them towards other resources to help them out. We have a very compassionate staff that I'm very proud of. We have a big snack bar that the kids can always have access to. We sell snacks, but we also have some free food that they can eat as well. So we're always giving them, whether it be peanut butter sandwiches or bagels, if the kid is hungry, we do our best to feed them as well. I think it's a very positive program, and I would love to see more young people in the community taking advantage of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. Heather Boxell is the owner and director of Oneonta's newest child care center called Yaks Youth Center. Sorry, went on 2 lines there. Yaks Youth Center. It has been in operation for 2 years and 1 month. She will be discussing the process of opening a center and the impact that it has had on the community.
So yeah, I'm going to speak more about the challenges of having a child care in Oneonta. It wasn't easy. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and then I'll go into it. So I've been a member of this community since I chose to stay here after graduating from Harvard College in '96. Since graduating, I have worked in many human services fields. I have been a mediator at Family Court, a family partner at OFO, a toddler teacher and infant toddler program coordinator at Brookwood, and then in 2009, I opened up my own family daycare in my home. I started my child care because I truly have a love for the field and I wanted to be able to spend more time with my children. Over the 13 years I had my child care, I learned a lot about running my own business. So when the opportunity arose for me to expand my home child care into a center, I took it. So my first step was finding a location. The Office of Children and Family Services are the licensors for this area, so I contacted them and got an application. I have the book. If anyone wants to look at it at a different time, I can bring it. Instead of using it, I filed my application online, but the book gave me the ideas that I needed. As luck would have it, the Christian school on River Street was vacant, so I set up a viewing and fell in love with the location. After negotiating, the board at the Christian school granted me permission to use the location. My next step was to write my business plan. I worked with Michelle Kagan, sitting right next to me, and took the Small Business Development Center entrepreneur class to get the plan done. I had no idea how intense the business plan would be and how long it would take. If anyone is interested, they should definitely talk to her and enroll in the class. The information was essential. Next, I had to form my LLC, which required a lawyer and getting a federal ID number. I decided to have a single owner LLC for profit, which is a little different. I just don't have a board. I'm not for profit. It changes my grant, like the opportunity for grants and funding. But anyway, I had to go through several background checks in order to have my center. In order to be qualified as director, I had to take 18 hours of health and safety and have enough college credits in early childhood ed and get letters of recommendation. The following list are all the inspections the building had to go through in order to open. I had to get a private water supply permit, environmental hazard, certificate of occupancy from the city of Oneonta, zoning approval from the Oneonta Code Enforcement, a health inspection of the kitchen and building, fire alarm and detection inspection, fire suppression, heating system, boiler inspection, fire safety inspection, and building inspection by the Office of Children and Family Services. I had to develop a floor plan of the building, evacuation diagrams of each room, an emergency plan, a behavior management plan, daily schedules for each age group, a healthcare plan, a meal plan, a parent handbook, and an employee handbook. And this is all before one single child entered the building. Funding was very limited, so I was distraught several times through the process of how I was going to accomplish all of those steps. I sought funding from the local banks, and despite having an excellent credit score and a solid business plan, I could not get a loan. I was able to qualify for the City of Oneonta Microenterprise Grant and a desert grant from the state of New York. However, I had to be open in order to receive the money, and I needed the money in order to open. My brother Lenny, my sister Deborah, my daughter Allie lent me $20,000, and I used every cent I had from my home daycare and maxed every credit card to pay for the inspections and supplies needed to get the building up to code. My sister Deirdre helped me acquire desks, chairs, books, and materials. Sean the painter helped me paint the building. Patrick from LPD Construction helped me with every conceivable job in the building. Carpets Plus helped me with all the floor coverings. I say helped because they gave discounts, did the work, and waited patiently for the child care to open for the total funds to be paid. I was blessed to have the community behind me. Without their kindness and generosity, it would not have happened. When asked why they helped me to open, they said it was because they could see the benefit the center would have for the community. There were many obstacles, but the blessings were greater. Catholic Charities, Becky from Bugby, Erica from Little Lambs, Amy from the Coleman Center, and Sean from the Chamber of Commerce were my mentors through the process. I asked so many questions, which they always answered. I truly understood that the providers in the area were competitors and also teammates. My assistant at the time, his name's Randolph, he helped me at the house so that I could go to all the trainings and do all the work at the building, endless hours. Currently, I employ 27 local residents and provide care for 68 to 88 children, ages 6 weeks to 10 years old. I love this career path, and I'm thankful that we were able to help boost the economy by providing the jobs and giving parents the ability to work. The families, the community, and the child care definitely need each other. We also accept child care assistance. We're on the bus line. We have a UPK program. We work with Quality Stars. And most of us are part of the, are members of the National Association for the Education of Young Children. The obstacles mostly are that we would love to make child care affordable. We feel for the parents. We understand when they have 2 or 3 or 4 children in child care. But we have to pay our employees. We have to pay the state taxes. I have to pay rent every month. And so just barely breaking even, we charge the market rate because we can't charge any less. There's no way to keep the building open. So I do feel for them. We can't get the schools to give transportation for our before and after care. We have it. We don't know how to get them there. So I'm working on getting transportation so we could pick kids up and drop them back off at their schools. Like, it's almost impossible, but we're working together. We really do have a good community here, and we just have to keep these lines of communication open. Thank you.
What do you mean, like, you are trying to work on that? What do you mean you're trying to work on the busing?
I talked to the Oneonta Public Transit, and they help us sometimes with field trips during the summer. They took them to the Armory for basketball every Wednesday. They took us to Cooperstown, picked us up and kind of turned the bus off so that we could go as a group.
Okay.
We've talked to Melinda.
So they can't do that all year round?
No, well, I don't know. That's what we're working on. You know, we're working on trying to get grants for transportation because we would love to help. Like, I would love to do that, but where do we do? You can't have a 15-passenger van. It's not allowed through the state. You have to have a minivan. That's only 6 kids. You have to have an extra driver. There's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah, you have to have an extra driver in the car so the ratio changes. You have to have more staff to pick up kids. Like, there's a lot that goes into
With
it.
daycare, the bus is an extension of the daycare, essentially.
When you were describing everything you had to go through, I saw a lot of heads doing this and were familiar with that. And as you were describing more of what you had to go through. I saw a lot of heads going, which I freely translate to mean something like, wow. I acknowledge you for being unstoppable.
Yes.
Angel Ferguson is the owner-operator of Angel's Daycare, a New York State licensed group daycare in the city of Oneonta. She's been in business for almost 34 years. She started in 1991 as a family child care provider and quickly had to go to group daycare as the families were growing. Where is Angel?
Hello. Like he said, I started my business in 1991. Started family. My husband and I have three sons, and at the time, 2 of our sons were home. And I wanted to be home with them. I worked at the hospital, and I started looking into the process. And I had no clue what this process was going to be. Because they have to go through an application, you have to have inspections, they come through your home, they walk through your home. You have to have some inspections on your windows to make sure your windows are safe. So it was a lot. It took a lot to go through this. And then I got looking and I'm thinking, okay, I've got the inspection going, but how do I set up the space for my families? And so I started looking around and trying to reorganize our home, because it's still our home, so we still have to make it for our own families and other people's families to come in and feel welcome. And so my husband and I got it set up, and then I got thinking, now I've got to get my name out there. How am I going to do that? And this is back in 1991. I knew nobody in daycare business, nobody. So I was going to Catholic Charities. They were my go-to person. You know, they were my helpline. And once I got that established, I was golden. And then I will never forget, from working at the hospital, I met a lady there that I got to know very well. Her name is Esther. I won't give her last name. But she had 2 young boys. And she came to me at the hospital and said, I heard you were going to start up a daycare. And I said, well, I'm in the process of doing that. And she said, if you get going, I would love to come and have you take care of my sons. Well, lo and behold, she was one of my very first parents. And from that day on, that's how my name got spread throughout the community, because she was talking to other people, so I never had to advertise. So I give her big kudos for that. And I still keep in contact with her. We send Christmas cards every year. So that was tough, just trying to get my name out there, let people know who I am, what I'm about, what I have to offer. And my husband and I are very family oriented. So we love to have the families come in. We love to have the networking. We like to get them to know each other, because their children are with each other 9 to 10 hours a day. And then when the families are out in the stores and they see each other, the children are hugging and the parents are like, hi, because they don't know each other. So we try to make that an important role. So once I get established, I was golden. Some of the challenges as of now is pretty much regulations, keeping up with regulations. There's a lot to it, and you have to know what you're doing. And when they knock on your door and they come in, they're going to ask you, they're going to have a checklist. So you have to have that ready on the spot. And a lot of people don't understand how much that takes. That's a lot. You know, between training hours, fire drills, children's files, CPR classes. I mean, we have a slew of things that we have to do. But I try to stay organized as much as possible, and still try to take care of the children that are in our care. And that sometimes can be challenging. But I do it and I enjoy it. The other challenge that I'm finding out is that through New York State, our licensors change so frequently. It is terrible that we don't even get to meet half of them. Because by the time you get their email saying, I am so-and-so, I am your new licensor, and you're waiting for the knock on the door, and they never come. Then you get another email saying, I am now your licensor. So we don't get to form a relationship with this licensor so that we can kind of do what we need to do and they can see how well we're doing and show them that we're the professionals that we say we are. Because we are, we're very professionals. And when people say that we are a babysitter, we take that very, not so well. Because we're not babysitters. You know, so I struggle with that because I like to get to know our licensors when they come. And prior to that, sometimes they just knock on your door. I don't know what they look like, and I'm vulnerable. I've got all these little ones in my home. I have to let them in the door. But I'm also in protect mode, so what do? So that's another issue. So that's another challenge. But the pros of my job is I love working from home. I was able to be home with our second son, and later we had a third son. So I was able to be there every morning with them. And all they remember me doing is daycare. They don't remember anything else. They don't remember me going to the hospital every day. And they enjoy the children as well as I do. And so is my husband. He's a baby dad as well. And he goes for coffee in the morning. He comes home and he's the superstar. I like to build relationships with my families. We've been to many baby showers. We've been to graduations. We've been to weddings. In fact, right now, this kind of ages me a little bit, but I'm taking care of a family where the mother was in my daycare at her youngest child's age. So she came to me when she was 10 months old, and now I have all 3 of her children, which I love because it comes full circle. And then I love when the previous children, when they grow up and they come back, they always make a stop to your daycare. We have one that's in the Air Force, and every time he's home, he makes a stop at daycare. And he always reminisces about his days there. So to me, that means a lot. And then I think the only other thing that really makes my day is when you get 100 I love yous a day. And multiple hugs on your leg. That makes everything better.
What about I gotta go potty?
That too. Or when I'm being pulled 7 different ways, got it. Yeah. So and then I also am a member of the NACI, National Education for Young Children. We used to have a Tri-County AUIC here in the area, and I held every title just about in that organization. I was president for 2 terms. Nobody else wanted to take over, so there I was. So I'm still very connected to that organization as well. So I'll leave this with you. One of my favorite sayings is, it takes a big heart to help shape little hearts and minds. And that's one of my favorite things, and I think we're all doing that together as a community.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Our next 2 speakers are Judy Pangman and Michelle Caton. Judy, the City of Oneonta Community Development Director. That department has recently provided nearly $2 million in grants to small businesses to help them get started or expand. Judy is here tonight to discuss potential funding sources for small businesses located in the city. Michelle Caton is Senior Business Advisor with the Small Business Development Center at Binghamton University. The SBDC offers no-cost business counseling, training, research, and funding assistance through the development of business plans and financial projections. They are funded through the New York State SUNY system, as well as the federal SBA program. Judy and Michelle.
I'll start. So we just wanted to make sure that people knew what the city can offer relative to businesses that are in the child care world. As Heather mentioned, we were able to award Heather a $30-some thousand grant through the microenterprise program. So I thought I'd start with the microenterprise program and explain a little bit about what that is. It's a program that the city applies to the state for. We usually apply around every 2 years or so. We actually have a brand new program. The deadline for applications is this Friday, so we're a little late for this program, but in the coming years we'll keep applying for this funding. Small businesses, this is for very small businesses with 5 or fewer owners and employees by head count. So that it doesn't matter, sorry. It doesn't matter if that's full-time or part-time. If you have 5 or fewer owners and employees, you can apply. The business has to be located in the city. It can be a new business or it can be an existing business that has expansion plans of some kind, whether it's providing new services or expanding the size of the business. Businesses can apply for up to $35,000 in grants. It has to meet a national objective because it's actually federal funding. So to meet that objective, either the business owner themselves have to be low to moderate income, or they have to create one full-time equivalent job for a low to moderate income person. And what that means is that they can't require prior experience and they can't require anything beyond a high school education. So they can come on the job training for that job. The program can fund equipment, basically standalone equipment. If the equipment has to be installed by a contractor, then it's not eligible. So standalone equipment that you can just install and plug in, or tables, chairs, desks, things like that. They can fund inventory, working capital, so rent, payroll, general costs of doing business, so utilities, your attorney, your accountant, all those kinds of expenses can be covered. It also can cover electronics like point of sale equipment and computers, as long as you certify that that equipment is going to be used just for the business. It's a pretty nice little program. Through that program since 2010, the city has funded about 67 businesses with about $1.2 million in grant funding. Of those businesses, more than half of them are still in business since 2010. So it's a pretty good track record. Michelle is here because Michelle is instrumental in a lot of those applications. A lot of our grantees go through Michelle's program. The microenterprise program requires that the grantee attend a business training class. Michelle's agency and Michelle offer that training class. And by doing that training class, they get the help to get their business plan in order, which is also a requirement of the grant. So if you're a little bit larger, or much larger than 5 employees and owners, there's another grant program that the city can apply to the state for on a grantee's behalf. That application is done just with that grantee. It's a 2-part application process where we submit a pre-application and then get invited in by the state if they're interested in funding that grant. It's a little more involved, especially if it's a bigger project. There's kind of 2 levels that you can apply for. So if you have 25 or fewer employees, you can apply for up to $100,000 in grant. For every $25,000 in grant, you have to create 1 full-time equivalent job. So if you're applying for $100,000, you have to create 4 full-time equivalent jobs. For those that might not know, full-time equivalent means the equivalent of a 40-hour work week, and that could be a couple of part-time people as well, as long as the total is 40 hours. That grant is very similar to the microenterprise grant in terms of what they fund. Equipment, in this case, you can apply for equipment that is a contractor. You can also apply for building renovations, although we don't recommend that because that grant requires that you pay prevailing wages and your cost could increase on construction by 20 to 30% because of that. And sometimes the grant isn't enough to really offset that increase. It also will pay for building acquisition. So it's a nice program. If you're a larger business and you already have more than 25 employees, you can submit a grant for up to $750,000 through that program. If you're applying for the larger grant, then every $15,000 in the grant will require one to a full-time equivalent, so it means more job creation. I'm trying to think about that. If you're interested in that grant, we always recommend that you use the city's grant writer, and we ask that you pay for those costs. But because it's a much more involved grant than the microenterprise grant, Michelle's also helps us and our grant writer on some of those grants as well. So those two grants are for businesses, for-profit businesses. It's always helpful if you're looking to open a daycare. If you're looking to, if you're a nonprofit and you're looking for funding assistance, you can always reach out to my office because occasionally we have nonprofit grants that come through that you know about, and we can point you to them. We don't apply for them for you, but we can definitely help you. There was actually one in this year's consolidated funding application, which was a brand new program for capital improvements, which was pretty neat. Hopefully they'll be offering that next year. And then, before my 2 minutes is up here, right down in a minute, we also have the Oneonta Community Initiative. That is a little grant program that the city offers. We have handouts over here for all these programs. That offers up to $1,000, which can be used for community benefit. It can be used for children's programming, it can be used for an event. It has to benefit the community, so if you're focusing on kids, that's a clear benefit. That application is online on the city website. You can just search for City of Oneonta, OCI. The guidance document is over there. It's a neat little program that we're really excited about.
So I want to thank Heather for those kind words. Michelle, I'm a business advisor with the Small Business Development Center, and I just help people every day that are trying to get in business, or they're in business, or they need help with a business plan, or something like that. So our services are free. We're funded through the state. We've got resources at SUNY Albany, so if you need some demographic information, census information, Department of Ed information for your business plan, all of that stuff, we have researchers that can help get that. So I'm just a resource for the business community, so I was asked by Mark just to come talk about that today. Because if there was anyone that was interested in starting a daycare center and wanted some help, we're here to help you. We've got some specialists within the SBDC that work on just daycare projects. So we have those resources available. I don't have little kids anymore. They're grown now, but I was born and raised here, and growing up, the city had a program where all day you had something to do while my mom and dad both worked. So we had Kiwanis baseball, we had swimming at Wilbur Park, we had lunch, and I don't remember how many years ago that went away, and then the YMCA jumped in and they tried to help with that. And now the Boys and Girls Club, just, you know, you guys having the agencies around here to help the kids, it's so important. And like Heather says, let's figure it out. Let's, you know, figure out how we can get some of these things done. I know a lot of different families that want their kids to go to the Boys and Girls Club after school, but they have no way of getting their kids there. So let's figure that one out, because that would be really good for our community. So that's all I want to say.
Well, in something of a full circle, we're going to come back to Rebecca Matthews, who is going to tie some of these things together for us and maybe open some vistas to further conversation. And once she's finished saying to us what she wants to, we'll have some time for Q&A and more back and forth with one another.
So our child care program, besides trying to educate the public about types of care and promoting daycare, we, in our child care program, you've heard all of the providers say, you know, we work with them a lot. We provide what we call training and technical assistance to programs. So that means we go in and help them rearrange a room, or maybe they have got a kid that just won't stop climbing a shelf, and maybe they need to work on that with that child. You know, so those are the kinds of things we do with all programs in Otsego County. We are the sponsors for the Child and Adult Care Food Program, which is a program that reimburses food costs for programs who are on that. And then we are the registering agency for family daycare programs, and school-age childcare programs. So we're a contract agency with the Office of Children and Family Services for that, meaning that we go in and do the inspections that nobody likes, and work with those programs in that sense. And then for the programs that are licensed through the state, we are just there for support, and if they've got something going on they need help with, or we also have Kim, who does our trainings in a variety of topics. Am I forgetting anything? You weren't kidding.
We do orientation.
Oh, yes. So for people who are interested in starting a daycare, we offer orientations and basically help from start to finish in all aspects of starting that daycare. So we'll help you through the process. You get that application, you're like, oh my God, this is so much. We help from the whole entire thing, filling out the healthcare plan, in that kind of sense. And then once they become licensed, registered, we're still there for support. So I think that's about it. So if anybody's interested or know somebody who's interested, please have them reach out to us. If you have any questions about anything childcare related, please know that we're here. I left way too many materials over there, so please take some. And yeah.
Thank you. Mark, where did the other microphone end up? Right here. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one up front, and I can be a bit, you guys certainly don't need me to pass this around, but people will have questions for you, so maybe I can walk that to some of the people in the back. And this is our Q&A time. If you have questions, raise your hand. I'll walk the microphone to you, and I'm going to give this to you initially. And
I'm with my own. I got it.
all right.
I don't know if there's any questions in the chat on like the live stream here.
Okay, whoa, hi. Man, that's a hot mic. Okay, that's better. Okay. My name's Laura. It's not so much of a question, more of a comment. I run a Facebook page called Oneonta for Kids. I know a couple of people here definitely post and put stuff up about the different things that are going on around Oneonta. When I moved here 9 years ago, I was missing things all the time. I had no idea what was going on. I never made up sign-ups to get my kids signed up for soccer or baseball. I didn't know the Boys and Girls Club existed. And it took me about 5 years of living here before I knew about anything that was going on that was child-related. I thought I was in a dead zone. So I started Oneonta for Kids recently after a conversation with our friends. And basically it's a place for any child-related activities to post. Now, one of the things that's showing up recently a lot on the board are people who are babysitters. People who, especially college kids who are looking to babysit or nanny. We get that a lot during the year. And I'm wondering if it would be helpful to move that out of the Oneonta for Kids space, which is really more about like activities, into its own Facebook page that is more about childcare. But then at the same time, one of the major conversations on the Oneonta for Kids board, especially when summer starts to come around, is what is there to do. And Emily Popick, I hope I said her name right, okay, she's one of our admins, and she is incredible. She created this very in-depth spreadsheet of every single child activity that is available during the summer. And we post that usually about a month or 2 months before the summer starts, and it is all, within about 30 minutes around us. It's everything. So to the businesses that are here, the daycares, the childcare centers, when you have spots available, or you do want to advertise your services, that is a place that you can use, because that's what we're currently doing, unless we decided to move it outside to a different Facebook page. And also to the people who are watching, if you are looking for a spot where all of this information is being brought together. You can go to Oneonta for Kids. It's on Facebook. It's a tie-dye cover or like profile picture, so you won't miss it. And that just want to put that out there for people because I know it was a real problem for me.
I'm Jeff Katz, Executive Director of the Community Foundation of Otsego County. So this is information that is incredibly timely. So congratulations and thank you to Mayor Drenick for arranging this in exact accordance with the Community Foundation schedule, just by chance. We are a week or two from announcing our fall award cycle, which is dedicated to enrichment programming and basic needs for children from birth to elementary school. Keep that on your radar. We will put press releases out. Our website is cfotsego.org. We have worked with many of you in this room. We try very hard to have a simple process for our grants. We understand how busy and how strapped nonprofits are, and I am always available for comment, even to the point of if you do apply, we can talk about your application, because I can see it before it gets submitted. It doesn't mean you'll get approved, but at least you'll be positioned as well as possible. So that's coming up. For the for-profits, there's something coming down the pipe that is in its early stages, but the Community Foundation wanted to find an appropriate place to help out in economic development. As we know, there are a lot of players in that field, and we didn't want to just say, now we're another redundant player. We talked to a lot of people. Judy and Michelle were two of them. We talked to Otsego County Development Corp. We talked to a lot of people, and we felt that we could provide some loans for businesses that fall between the 5 and less and whatever, 75 and more. There seems to be a need there. We approve that internally, but there's a lot of prep that goes into getting that done. So for the for-profits, again, keep an eye on our website, keep an eye on our press releases. We're pretty much out there a lot. And you can always access me through the website. Contact@cfotsego.org email is something I access as well. So lots of relevant things happening, the award cycle particularly, so keep that on your radar for the nonprofits. And the for-profits, we hope we can figure out a way to help as time moves on. So thank you all again. Thank you, Mayor Drury.
I forgot something very important that we do. Thank you, Laura, for mentioning families. I totally forgot about that. We do referrals for all of our child care providers in the county. So if a family is looking for child care, that is one thing they can give us a call, and we will do a customized referral for them, for their area, the kind of care they're looking for, and things like that. And then it's another advertising avenue, essentially, for the child care providers.
So that's like, is that like babysitting or?
No, it is only registered and licensed care.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we help with that legally exempt process. But the Facebook page I think is a great thing. My only caveat to that, which we're trying to get the word out there, is just for parents to be informed about selecting quality and good childcare for their children. And they may, sometimes parents don't realize that people out there who run a childcare program are not registered and licensed with the state. So just as a mindful.
Question?
Hi. So my question is, I'm just curious, as we're trying to figure out moving forward, first of all, I heard Yaks say we need after-school busing, right? So how do we do that? How do we work with that with the city? Oh, hold on. Hand her a microphone. Hand her a microphone.
Greater Plains right now buses the kids to us. We have like one child right now that's doing it. The problem is, of course, getting the word out there, and the fact that the kids are on the bus for like an hour to get from Chestnut Street to River Street.
Why is that?
I have no idea.
Just the bus.
All right,
It's just the bus route.
Just the route.
These
They're
reasons,
very
I'm
close.
not here for like, I'm like, I don't need this.
So
They get too close to their house.
And since that was raised in this meeting, I emailed our city administrator and our OPT director, and their response was they want to look into it. Some of the hurdles, DOT funding makes it so that the bus has to be available for anyone to ride, not just school kids. There would have to be a fee for the ride, so we have to figure that out.
Or is that like town budget, or is that like, how
This is
who covers
city-
that? City budget?
Public transportation.
All right, we're looking for after school care, so
Can
why
I
don't
finish? Let me just finish.
Sure.
It's unlikely that they would do a separate run for this, but there already are buses that go to both the areas of both schools. We'd have to get over parents being uncomfortable having their kids ride the buses because they're public. So that, I don't know if that, I don't know if you could have parent or teacher volunteers to ride
Okay,
those buses
I'm
during
curious.
those times.
So I'm curious about this response. Hold on.
I'm not gonna send my fourth grader on a bus with one driver and a ton of other children from the
So
same
these are
That's what you're
issues,
worried about.
these are issues that would have to be figured out to make the OPT
Is that something
option
that the school district might,
Well,
and I know they're not here.
Do you know that at the middle school, because I'm part of the PTO that just started there, they just got funding to have buses, school buses, pick up middle schoolers during their after-school program and then bring them home, because the middle school kids didn't have anything, they couldn't stay because there was no transportation for them to get home if they wanted to stay after school for clubs and different things. So somehow funding for the middle school was achieved. So if we can apply or do whatever Principal Millay did to get that funding, I think we need to and look a little harder to see if that can also be achieved for the elementary schools to get those kids to the different programs that they can go to. However, like you said, we can't send everybody to Boys and Girls Club. Because that's going to be very problematic for them. Although I gotta tell you, they're like, it's my favorite place, love it. So with that said, it's possible. It's possible to get that additional transportation because Mr. Millay did it. So we need to like dig in and figure out how he did that and get that to happen for our elementary school kids.
So for YACS, what we did in the summer is we calculated how many students we were going to put on the bus. We kept our ratios with our student to teachers, and we charged the parents very little, and I just paid the rest because it was important. And I understood that parents weren't going to be able to pay every week to have their kids do stuff. So I kind of charged them like a blanket $10 or $20 for the entire summer. And we just used it as just part of our reach out, kind of our outreach to the community. And it worked. I didn't budget how much I spent this summer on doing those things, but I recognized the importance. And OPT did work with me. They were grumpy sometimes, but they understood also the impact that they were having by getting the kids, here and there. I know that if they would work with us, we would send one of our, or two or three of our employees on the bus to get the kids and bring them back to the center. The kids worked on the transportation, using their own tickets. It was the whole experience, not talking to strangers. What do we see in our community? Look what's out there. Did you know that public transportation is better for you than driving our cars? So it was like, it was a big thing. We didn't make it just, we're getting on the bus. The kids looked forward to it. And I think that working with the city, if we're paying for it, then maybe they can get us a route that goes between all the child cares and schools. we're not asking for it to be free, just affordable and just for it to make sense for our needs, so.
Okay, so who's the answer for that? Who's the answer for that, to help us get funding?
Yeah, actually, Judy's got it.
Judy? Here we go.
It's a combination of what can the school do, what can the city do. You can't be
I feel like the school needs to be part of the conversation.
Got to start.
And again, I feel like the school needs to be part of the conversation, so I don't know if there's a way to, obviously I don't want to drag everybody out again, it's late. But if there's a way to pull the school in and do a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Or even, is there something like as parents of kids that, in the district, is there something that we can do? Like, is there someone we can contact at the school? Do we contact Brinley? Do we contact our principals? Do we, I guess I don't know who to reach out to. Do we reach out to the bus garage? I don't know.
Great question. Oh, wait, hold on.
So one of the places that would probably fit in the award cycle is if families and students needed some subsidizing of the cost as opposed to paying OPT or paying the city. So we have had experience in different awards programs where we could help pay for some transportation vouchers. So that's where we would fit.
Wait, I'm sorry, where are you from?
The Community Foundation of Otsego County.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm just going to throw this out there.
Hold on.
The schools run an
Like Jerry
after-school
Springer.
program. I'm not from Oneonta, I don't have young children, but it's a business for them. They're charging families, so why would they want to bus kids someplace else?
Because there are wait lists that are 100 kids long, trying to get into those programs that they can't.
Right, but if they took those children
Right.
all there, they're losing their business. I mean, I'm not part of Oneonta schools, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, and,
What we have to do is expect that the people we elect are going to do what's best for kids, and not what's best for the school district, and as far as their business goes. I guess that's the expectation that we have to have of them when we sit down and have the conversation, right? As far as the whole transportation thing, are there some rules about transporting? Because I heard you can't have a van, and you can't have a bus. You have to have a van. If there was an independent contractor who wanted to start a small business that drove kids safely to locations, what is going to get in the way of that? I'm sure there's a book long of regulations that's going to prevent the solution to this problem.
Regulations for daycare centers or any daycare that wants to do busing. The bus is an extension of the center. So all daycare regulations are the same on the bus, essentially. So it gets a little hinky. Contracting out is an option, but it gets a little tricky.
What if it is not a bus going to daycares? What if it's a bus going to like the YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club?
Then that's up to liability, I would say.
So it's the insurance you're holding.
Anyone else?
Okay, just a quick thing on the top of my head. So if there's funding for the middle school age kids, maybe, is there a way to cover younger kids in that program that maybe are being cared for at a different facility?
I think the problem is with the middle, with the middle school is they were going to have the programs after school, so it was getting the kids home. With the elementary school kids, it's getting the kids to the program. So it was a matter of one where we need to get these kids home, so these buses are going to show up like at this time at night when those programs are done and bring them to their homes, which is complicated because you have to remember the kids from the middle school are from all areas of Oneonta. The problem that the elementary school kids are having is getting to the programming after school. And so these kids have nowhere to go. We have a lot of, I'm sure there's plenty of kids going home to no parents.
So is there any
there's no other option.
way to budget that?
That's what I'm saying. If Mr. Mollet can figure it out.
It's a regulation from the state licensors. It's not just, if we could pick them up in our cars, we would.
Right.
That's not the problem. The problem is that we have a lot of hurdles to jump through
Yeah.
to make sure that we're
No,
going
I
to
get
stay
it.
compliant and not get shut down.
Right.
So it's not just about,
Because if that contractor leaves a kid on the bus,
we're going down like the Titanic.
Exactly.
So is there any thought on how to fix that at this point?
Not really. That's why it has to come from the school.
It has to come from the school?
The school has to be the one, because they have the insurance to handle if, this kid falls asleep.
Yeah.
It has to come from the school. And the reason why this problem has to be solved by the school is because of the insurance issue. They can't carry that liability. The school most likely can because the taxpayers are carrying the liability. So the solution to this is finding out how Mr. Millay did it to get that extra funding and to do the same thing to get the kids from the elementary schools to the programming. And then once we get, finding out what those numbers are going to be, making sure that we have in place the support that they're going to need.
Yeah, and can we get the programming covered by state costs, right?
Right.
Because obviously, we all need a little bit of help, right?
And also, I just want to put out there, I don't know how, certain organizations are, if they're getting grants or donations or whatever, but give. If you live in Oneonta and you have the ability to do it, donate to the Boys and Girls Club, donate to the YMCA, donate to these organizations because they are, making good kids makes a good community, okay, a future community and people who want to stay here and raise their kids here. And it's it's great, don't get your Starbucks maybe twice a week and give the money to them because they're using it to do incredible things. Same with the daycares. I just want to say, you guys are incredible. I did daycare I paid for daycare for a while and I was like, how, with this little amount of money that I'm giving them, how can they do the job that they're doing? So I just want to say we as parents recognize that you guys are underpaid. And I think part of this problem is that us as adults have to go to our jobs and say, we need more. If you want us to be here and provide the work that we're providing to you, then you have to give us the funds to be able to put our kids into these programs that, so this is a systemic issue, but we do recognize the sacrifices that you guys are making, and we appreciate it, and it's beautiful, and I swear to God, if anybody comes for you, I'll come for them.
Well, there's going to be others in this series addressing issues that the community finds vital and important. So thank you everybody for being here tonight. There are materials up here on the table that several of the presenters have brought, and the presenters are here. So if you want to connect with anyone, this is the time to do that. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mayor Jernick, for putting all this together and for the wonderful station to broadcast this event.
Just quickly, I want to thank you, Reverend Mark Montfort, for moderating this. I want to thank everybody on such short notice for being here. I think that this has been an incredibly informative conversation. I think all of us have learned something, which is great to be able to say when you go to meetings. Sometimes you don't, right? So I hope that everybody feels like the investment of time was worthwhile. There is certainly information here for those. One of the things that we'd like to see is potentially entrepreneurs look at filling some of the voids that we have identified here. Eyes open, because we've heard exactly how difficult the process is. You shouldn't just think that you can, let's open my doors and take in some kids. It doesn't work that way, but you have the resources here, you have the experience here, you have the expertise here, you have the people here that you have come to know in these last 90 minutes or so, and they are all here for you. They will all pick up the phone and they will all answer your emails. So to everyone and to Roots, thank you so much to Ocego Media. Thank you so much. This will be, not only has been live streamed, but we'll archive this and people will be able to, get the benefit of a couple of views of this. So again, thank you everyone for attending.
Oh yes, I know we talked about it.